The worst thing that can happen to an election thief is to now, in bare face, begin to encourage thuggery and roguish behavior. And to Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, put a leash on Dakwa Abiodun before he gets us to implode the states for him. The gentility of a fox is not the meaning that maybe people have a license to be misbehaving and expect us to just be walking away every time. For how long are you going to keep pushing us back before we react? Dakwa Abiodun, Governor Dakwa Abiodun, call your people to order. This is totally unacceptable. This is not the Ogun State we know. This is not the Ogun State we lived in. This is not the Ogun State of our future. Whatever needs to happen, go and find out who and who is responsible. They've done it in your name, and you have a duty and a responsibility to call them to order and make sure that we can live here, we can sleep here, we can be safe here. Nothing more needs to be said other than the fact that it is a very ugly day of shame. It is a day that nobody in his right senses who is a true born of Ogun State will be proud of this.
Welcome to Nation Voice Tower. My name is Angelo with the updates. On what is trending, I have an update for you from Abeokuta. Now, the Ogun State Elections Petitions Tribunal sitting in Sabo, Abeokuta, Ogun State, commenced today. Now, the hearing has been scheduled for Monday, actually, the 5th day of June 2023, which commenced earlier this morning, okay? Now, the truth is, Ladi Adebutu, who is the PDP aspirant or candidate for the governorship, is challenging the victory and election of Dapo Abiodun of the APC, who is a sitting governor right now. Okay, the truth remains that during the sitting today at the tribunal, the members of the PDP and people from the PDP camp, who are the opposition party in the state, were attacked by thugs, hoodlums, and people who were alleged to be from the APC camp. One of the people who were attacked from the PDP camp was Segun Showunmi. Now, Segun Showunmi, who is a PDP chieftain, was attacked today at the tribunal court in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State. The PDP chieftain, speaking about the attack in an interview, accused the ruling party, which is the APC, of utilizing thuggery to intimidate opposition parties. He alleged that though he wasn't the party's candidate, he only went to the court to show solidarity and he was attacked. Now, the truth remains that what is happening in the western or southwestern part of the country is actually awful and unheard of. Without wasting much of your time, let me allow you to listen to Segun Showunmi, one of the senior chieftains of the PDP that got attacked today at the tribunal sitting in Abeokuta. Watch him.
The worst thing that can happen to an election thief is to now, in bare face, begin to encourage thuggery and roguish behavior. I've played politics in Ogun State since 1999. Bar one incident in 2007, I do not have any recollection of any time in the history of our state where brigandage, misbehavior, thuggery, criminality, marauders and murderers have been elevated to the directive principle of state power, like has happened underneath the government of Dakwa Abiodun, the man I like to say, the select governor of Ogun State, because you couldn't have won an election that is still very much being contested. Today was the beginning of the opening of the tribunal, and obviously a lot of people will go there. It is usual for leaders of political parties like us to show face so that we can just show solidarity, not like we're leaving all our followers to do all the hard work while we sit in the comfort of our air-conditioned room. And in my habit, I don't move around with thugs or, miscreants. I alighted reasonably distant from the courthouse because I knew that parking would be a problem, and I proceeded to walk. As I moved towards the environment, I had seen the type of terrible characters that in decent societies they should be in prison, milling around and driving all over the place. Some of them are fairly known operators who play around their parks and garage and their ticketing and such beastly activities. I approached the court gate and it was locked. And I realized that there was no room in the court anymore. And I simply turned back. And as I make my way to leave, a horde of murderers descended, tried to, bring out weed, bring out cool girls, brought out guns. And they were generally misbehaving at a point, because this is Abeokuta South, where we defeated them resoundly with all of their thuggery and all of their manipulative tendencies. I thought, okay, what could make them so upset? I couldn't find any. Luckily, the security vehicle was not too far off, and I entered into the security vehicle to make my way to leave. As typical of the kinds of nonsense that has become of Ogunwanda Dakwa Abiodun, one of them snatched my glasses, which is quite pricey, and ran away with it while I was leaving. Luckily, I have a spare at home, so I went back home and took another spare. What I would just want to say, I feel, first is to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president that is in the villa now. We have transferred power from one civilian administration to the other since 1999. Not even under Muhammadu Buhari has brigandage been tolerated to the level that we're beginning to see it now. If they're not attacking our people in Kogi, they're attacking us in Imo. If they're not attacking us in Imo, they're attacking us in Abeokuta. It was easy to explain an attack until I felt it physically, to ask myself that, how does this type of madness happen here? Unfortunately, I saw the police standing by helpless, as though they don't even understand that they have a responsibility to keep the peace. I kept asking myself, how could you have been watching them hold guns, hold sticks, hold on, all of them shouting the name, Dakwa sent us, Dakwa Abiodun sent us, Dakwa Abiodun sent us. And I was asking myself, when did Ogun State become a place where governors send thugs for the opening day of tribunal? I'm not surprised. The first evidence of this type of behavior we saw from the rather gentleman governor, which we thought was a gentleman, was the show of shame that took place in Ijebu, in the entire Ogun East axis, where you saw operatives riding Okada, just misbehaving, and you're asking yourself, first, the tribunal is not going to give verdict on the first day. Second, at best, they are just opening the election. How does it become fashionable for you to mobilize miscreants to the place? So our position is that the president of the Court of Appeal, in his wisdom, should please relocate the Ogun State Tribunal from Abeokuta, because it's no longer safe, so that we can go and have that tribunal in the peaceful atmosphere of Abuja, and everybody can have the case adjudicated, and we can deal with the outcome of the court cases. The second thing that needs to be said to Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, put a leash on Dakwa Abiodun before he gets us to implode the states for him. The gentility of a fox is not the meaning that maybe people have a license to be misbehaving and expect us to just be walking away every time. For how long are you going to keep pushing us back before we react? It's democracy, and we have the inalienable right to stand for election, to expect that the election will be free and fair, to go through the process of tribunal, to go to court when our cases are being called without being attacked. And because we know ourselves, it's a lot of work one has been putting in to beg our own people lawful for a reprisal. Would President Bola Ahmed Tinubu like to hear that in Abeokuta now we have all started injuring ourselves because of a verdict that we are still expecting in court? Dakwa Abiodun, Governor Dakwa Abiodun, call your people to order. This is totally unacceptable. This is not the Ogun State we know. This is not the Ogun State we live in. This is not the Ogun State of our future. Whatever needs to happen, go and find out who and who is responsible. They've done it in your name, and you have a duty and a responsibility to call them to order and make sure that we can live here, we can sleep here, we can be safe here. Nothing more needs to be said other than the fact that it is a very ugly day of shame. It is a day that nobody in his right senses who is a true born of Ogun State will be proud of this. Some of my followers are in the hospital now as we speak, attending to their injury. Luckily, I was able to, get away from the place, but it's not without his own scars. What would have happened if we had mobilized thugs there? What would have happened if we had told our thugs that they should engage them in a fight? What would have happened if it had gotten out of hand? Are we going to make a bloodbath in Ogun State just because Dakwa Abiodun has lost an election and is struggling very hard to justify his stolen mandate? You will never be governor that we will agree to. We will never give you legitimacy on this particular term, because as far as we know and as far as we are concerned, you have stolen our mandate and we are determined to collect it back.
Welcome back. The truth remains that throughout the course of the elections, both presidential and gubernatorial, lots of issues have been recorded, especially as regards to political thuggery and electoral violence. Okay, now we've seen that the APC in the southwestern part of Nigeria has carried over this particular electoral thuggery and sort of bigotry and banditry in elections or in politics. They have carried it to the court. The Elections Petitions Tribunal started hearing today at Abeokuta, and it was supposed to be a safe place for whoever was involved in the tribunal. Talking about Ladi Adebutu of the PDP and Dapo Abiodun of the APC, who is the sitting governor. But with the recent development that had thugs attack chieftains of the PDP and other oppositions, that means all PDP chieftains that were at the court today were unsafe. Thus, bringing us to the fact that the chieftain of the PDP there, Segun Showunmi, has pleaded with Asiwaju and the president of the Court of Appeal in Abeokuta to please move or change the location of the court or hearing of the tribunal to Abuja, so that all members of the opposition party PDP can be safe and can attend the tribunal in peace. You heard it all there from Segun Showunmi, and I cannot say much. That's sad. That's very, very bad of our political system to have thuggery and banditry take over the hem of affairs during hearing when a particular victory of some candidate in court is being challenged. That is that about that particular update. I have something quite different this time around. Yes, in a recent interview, amidst the ongoing rift between Bode George and the president Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bode George is a chieftain of the PDP and a former retired general of the Nigerian Army. Okay, over time he has come under fire for having this particular rift unresolved at Asiwaju over reasons we cannot say. So in this interview, he granted an interview insinuating that he wasn't or he doesn't need or wish for any political appointment from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government. And he, not just because of the irreconcilable rift between the two, he alleged that he feels he is quite contented and comfortable with his status and contribution to the country and to the society. Now, without wasting much of your time, let me allow you watch the brief interview that was granted by Bode George on Arise News, why he explained the reasons why he feels he doesn't have to take any appointment from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government.
Well, you know, people in your profession sometimes can be mischievous. Now, if there was a gentleman, first of all, the guy who posted it in his paper, the leadership, they were not at the press conference. Now, if they asked me that what would I do if Tinubu calls me, and I said precisely, exactly, that if he calls me, I will pray for Nigeria. Listen, I am not a flip-flopper by any profession. I retired as a general. What would he be calling me for? We don't belong to the same party. If he wants to say, Chief, good morning, and I say, Mr. President, that is if all the court cases are over. We are still in court. Even when Papa Olusi came, trying to convince me to go and pay a congratulatory visit to him, I said, no, I can't do that. So what futuristic thing, what would they be doing in their calculations? I've told you I have no personal qualms with this gentleman. The only differences we have are purely administrative. Their managerial style are not in my style. So why would I, at this age, be running around for a job? Job at what? The first time I was exposed to public management, I was 42 years old. Now I'm almost 40. My first child is 50 years plus. Now, why would I be looking for any job if he calls and you cannot disrespect him? But to put it in his own mind, that I, Bode George, will be looking for job at this time, come on. Let some of these people put on their thinking cap and stop spreading unnecessary rumor. I am not a green chicken.
Welcome back. On the issue of Bode George and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if not actually an issue of this morning or an issue of last week, it has been there right before the election time. Recall that pre-election, Bode George granted an interview to tell people on newsmen that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu should win the elections, he will leave Nigeria for good. Okay. Then recall that few days after the election and coalition of results, and when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, was announced as the winner of the elections, Bode George still granted an interview to tell newsmen that he might leave owing to the fact that there is a particular court case going on where the victory of Asiwaju is being challenged. So Bode George has refused to make his intentions known, whether or not he's going to leave Nigeria or not. Now recall that few days after swearing in, or before the swearing in rather, few chieftains from the APC and senior political heads, warheads from the southwest visited Bode George to plead with him to please send congratulatory messages to Asiwaju, of which he declined. So all said and done, you will see that Bode George is not actually in the hem of the right hem of the moods to, or the best of moods to actually reconcile with the president of the country, because he feels that even though the case is being challenged in court, he feels he is not obligated to reconcile or pay homage to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Finally, I would urge our viewers to please like our videos. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button. Don't forget to tap the notification bell too if you're an incoming subscriber or an already existing subscriber, so you could get updates from us anytime, any day. Please like, share, and comment on this particular content. Finally, on the hearing today about the Labour Party and Peter Obi challenging the victory of the president of the country, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the credibility of INEC's elections in the just concluded presidential elections in court in Abuja, the counsel to the Labour Party, Mike Ezekome, has faulted Nigeria's electoral body, INEC, for a kind of announcing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the presidential elections concluded a fortnight ago. This particular election made him emerge as president-elect. Now, Mike Ezekome went further to point out that there are proofs that they have with them that shows that the president was not victorious in the 2023 elections. He further faulted INEC in an interview that the truth of which has the case today in court, being the 5th day of June 2023, was that INEC was hasty and wrong in declaring Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the elections, because every evidence shows that Ahmed Bola Tinubu did not win the elections. Let me allow you to listen to the two counsels of the Labour Party today and the PDP while they addressed newsmen after the hearing of the court today.
Some of them said he didn't score the required 25% of the votes cast in FCT. And when they asked him, is this your opinion? He says, no, it's not my opinion. It is the law that he should have got 25% of FCT to be declared president. So generally, the thrust of our case today was that the INEC was hasty and wrong in declaring Tinubu the winner of the elections, because every evidence shows that he did not win. And that is our case today. 4 witnesses testified along that line.
And for today, we were able to tender a total of 8 states. From EC8A for 8 states. I tendered 5, while Dr. Azinge tendered 3. Out of the 5, my own state, Imo State, was one of those that at least I tendered their election results for 8 states, from EC8A. So tomorrow we continue with from EC8B and C, and like that. So the objection by INEC is more like a statutory kind of objection. They're just trying to play safe. There's no harm in that. It's just a routine objection that they take just perhaps for reasons best known to them. But the documents tendered are actually documents, certified true copy of documents procured by from INEC.
Right, all said and done. These are the updates we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our times together. I will continue to bring you updates and follow up on the ongoing tribunal at the Court of Appeal in Abuja. talking about the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal. So please, our viewers and our incoming subscribers, please don't forget to keep it with us tomorrow for more updates on this particular platform, that platform that brings you news back to back to back. See you next time in my next video. Bye.